Kevin McCarthy, and some of you were concerned about Kevin McCarthy and whether he's going to be tough enough. Tough enough, he threw off the Intel Committee, Eric Swalwell and Adam Schiff. He was leading the Intel Committee, Adam Schiff. And he did it in part because of the situation. Eric Swalwell had the Chinese national spy get in there into his office. We've talked to you about how dangerous the Chinese government is on this stuff. And then Adam Schiff was the one who said he had all this evidence of Russian collusion with Trump, and of course nothing. Adfrey said he had it in his hands. So I want you to hear from, I want your calls on this, 1-800-684-3110, especially those of you who may have been skeptical. I told you he would lead with courage. 1-800-684-3110. But here's what he said on the floor of the House yesterday.
No, let's answer her question. You just raised a question. I'm going to be very clear with you. The Intel Committee is different. You know why? Because what happens in the Intel Committee, you don't know. What happens in the Intel Committee, although the secrets are going on in the world, other members of Congress don't know. What did Adam Schiff do as the chairman of the Intel Committee? What Adam Schiff did, use his power as a chairman and lie to the American public. Even the Inspector General said it. When Devin Nunes put out a memo, he said it was false. When we had a laptop, he used it before an election to be politics and say that it was false and said it was the Russians. When he knew different, when he knew the Intel.
Okay, so I want to let's start. First of all, this was a bold move, and I appreciate that. You know, the clearance on these kind of things are a big deal, Wes. You went through it. It's the forms, as I said, are voluminous, but you had a situation where Adam Schiff knew information he had was not correct, said it differently. The Inspector General said it. When Devin Nunes put out a memo, he said it was, remember Adam Schiff saying it was false. Swalwell had the spy in his office. This is serious stuff, and McCarthy's taking a bold move here.
He absolutely is. Both of these gentlemen were compromised, in my opinion. They really were, and they don't need to serve on the committee that deals with the nation's most important secrets that impact directly the security of the United States of America. So I think it's a bold move on his part. You look what Adam Schiff did. He really took intel and he politicized it. There were certain things, remember, he would leak out that were technically not to be leaked, and other things that the American people had a right to know, he wouldn't tell us. He lied, as McCarthy said, to the American people. He used intel for blatant political purposes. Both he and Swalwell do not need to be dealing with the most important secrets of our nation.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to play this bite from Adam Schiff, but I also want to find the one from Adam Schiff where he said, and we may take us a while to find this one, where he said he had the info on Russia and collusion in his hands. It's real. It's an indictment. Let's see if we can find that. But let's play this one, number 27.
McCarthy's rationalizations, justifications keep shifting. The cardinal sin appears to be that I led the impeachment of his master in Mar-a-Lago for withholding hundreds of millions of dollars in military aid from Ukraine, a nation that was even then at war with Russia.
Okay, first of all, I want to say something about this withholding because I dealt with that on the floor of the United States Senate. That's not true. The only president that gave lethal weaponry to the Ukrainians was Donald Trump and Mike Pompeo when he was Secretary of State. So let's be clear on that, number one. So Adam Schiff not telling the truth there. The whole matter of what he did on the floor of the United States Senate, frankly, was an embarrassment. But you have to give credit to McCarthy for standing up to all of this.
Yeah, it's great because he's getting pushback, especially from the media, trying to claim this is all a political stunt. It's a political play. But he has been very clear this is not a political play like the Democrats have done, where they literally just kick people off every single committee. He is doing it in a just way with justification. He has said these two gentlemen will not serve on the Intel Committee because they are not fit to do so. He gives specific examples, and he is standing up for the American people because this is a national security committee that deals with national security, and he cares about the American people more than politics.
Look,
so
the Intel
he's
Committee,
strong.
Yeah, the Intel Committee is like Wes said. I mean, Wes in the Intel Committee handles the most sensitive information about our national security, and it's both domestic and foreign. I mean, so these guys were compromised. You're compromised, you don't get it.
They were compromised, and they took this really you could call sacred information about America, and they used it. for their own personal and political purposes. And I love what McCarthy said to the congresswoman who was questioning him on the floor yesterday. He said, what happens in the Intel Committee and this conversation of that we had about Schiff and Swalwell, you do not know. In other words, it's because it's secret that I'm not telling you, you know.
Right. I want to play. Can we play this flashback? This is Adam Schiff with the evidence of collusion. Now, remember, I was counsel to that impeachment. I was counsel to the president when it was the Mueller investigation, and also on Ukraine when it was part of what was the basis of impeachment. This is Adam Schiff. Listen to this is supercuts. This is a number of different times he said it.
So there's clear evidence on the issue of collusion, and this adds to that body of evidence. There's ample evidence of collusion in plain sight, and that is true.
Have Democrats found any evidence of collusion?
Yes, we have. You can see evidence in plain sight on the issue of collusion, pretty compelling evidence. And there is significant evidence of collusion. There is ample evidence, and indeed there is, of collusion of people in the Trump campaign with the Russians. I think there's plenty of evidence of collusion or conspiracy. All of this is evidence of collusion. There is significant evidence of collusion between the campaign and Russia.
Yeah, 2 years, $40 million investigation by Bob Mueller to conclude there is no evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. And this guy was on he was the chair of those committees, the Intel Committee. I mean, I want you to think about that. And Kevin McCarthy, as a Speaker of the House of Representatives, gets there and says, I'm not going to tolerate this. We're not doing that. Waylon is calling from Colorado on line 1. Waylon, welcome to the broadcast. You're on the air.
Hey, thank you so much for taking my call. My question to you guys is there any possible way that maybe another attorney group could actually step into these special counsels or do their own?
No, the way it works is, so look, the special, there used to be a thing called you're thinking about in the old days, they had an independent counsel, independent prosecutors, independent counsel's office. That was done away with because it just did not serve the country well. So they went to the special counsel, appointed by the attorney general only if he's disqualified by the deputy attorney general. And then they are still within the Department of Justice, but they operate in a more independent manner. You've got 3 going on right now. Durham, who's still investigating the investigators. I don't think that's going anywhere. You've got Jack Smith, who's investigating the former president of the United States. You got Rob Hur, who's investigating the current president of the United States. And now the FBI and Department of Justice have said that the Pence matter, because now he's got documents at his home, is being reviewed now by the FBI and the National Security Council. Now, I'll tell you, we're going to get to this later in the broadcast. This makes us look ridiculous. That the current president of the United States, the former president of the United States, the former vice president of the United States all have this going on at the same time. And I think it's a misuse of the special counsel. And I've never been a big fan of the special counsel for that reason, because I think it politicizes everything. And the FBI has been weaponized, and now it's weaponized on everybody. So I think if I was Merrick Garland, I'd pull off the dogs here and say, you know what? This is obviously a much broader issue than we think. Maybe we're not government handling the documents correctly in the disposition of these. So maybe relook at everything rather than having 3 criminal investigations proceeding at the same time.
Yeah, I think there's definitely an administrative way that they can handle this that is not going after 3 top leaders, legally and criminally. So I think there's you're exactly right. I think they should say, okay, let's deal with this administratively and get rid of these cases right now.
All right, let's go to Eric really quick. Eric, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hey.
So my question is with the secret counsel, are their cell phones accessible? Are they getting investigated
These
themselves?
special counsels, they have phones. They're given Department of Justice phones like any other government lawyer. They do operate oftentimes in a Skiff. That is a secured environment where you cannot bring phones in. So that's what the Skiff is. But no, they're not investigating the investigators. These guys have only been in office one hasn't started yet. The other one's only been around for a couple of months. The problem is the administration weaponized the FBI on this. All of these investigations, Trump, Biden, and Pence, should all be handled administratively, civilly, with the National Archives, and not become criminal investigations. That's my position. That may make some of you unhappy that I don't think Biden should be prosecuted for it. I don't think he should be prosecuted. I don't think Trump should be prosecuted. I don't think Pence should be prosecuted. Hillary Clinton wasn't prosecuted. Sandy Berger wasn't prosecuted. You know what needs to happen here? Resolve the matter. But they've weaponized these agencies.